Hey everyone, welcome back to another Merly on Time. My name is Chris Merles and I unbox and review budget watches. And today I am reviewing two watches from the company Gallant. Thank you to my friend Andy from Manitoba who gave me these watches from his personal collection. And so again, Andy, thank you so very much for these watches. And what we are answering today is Gallant any good? Are the Gallant watches any good? They're sub $50 watches, and are they any good for what you pay for? Stay tuned and you'll find out. Okay guys, so the first thing that you need to know about these two watches is they're not brand new out of the box. Andy sent these to me as a part of his personal collection, and therefore he has worn them, and there are some identifiable, scuffs and marks on the watches themselves. So I'm not reviewing brand new watches out of the box. So if you do see some wear and tear on the watches, it's because of that. The first watch we're going to look at is this one. I would say it's kind of like a sporty type watch, maybe a sporty dress type watch with the rubber band. It's just got a sporty feel and look to it. And I'll take you to the website first of all so that you can see the price of this. It is coming in on AliExpress, which is really the only place I could find, Gallant official store. You can see it says there. There isn't a dedicated website for this brand that I could find, but it is on AliExpress for $45 US, and I think that is a really good buy for sub $50. This is quite the nice looking watch. I have Super Cali here with me, and I've already done the measurements because I've tried to measure it while recording, and you just have to take my word for it that Super Cali did a good job, right, Super Cali? Well, of course I did. Okay, anyway, let me just take care of the dimensions. It's a 40 millimeter case. It's a 40 by 20. So we've got a 40 millimeter case, 20 millimeter lug width. Now, it's 24 millimeters at the case here, but to switch out the bracelet, or the band, I should say, it is 20 millimeters, the lug distance here. Or the lug width. The lug distance is 46.5 millimeters from the stainless steel point. A little bit over 50 millimeters if you include the bend in the band and the fact that it doesn't go straight down at the edge of the case there. It is all stainless steel. Case back, case, crown, and bezel, which is a fixed bezel. And it has 5 atmospheres or 50 meters of water resistance. So you can see water resistant at the 6 o'clock above the date window. At the 6 o'clock, you can see it has a Swiss movement. It is a quartz movement, although there is no running seconds hand, so you can't really see the movement itself on the dial. And it has a nice branded crown as well. And so let me just go over the things that I like about this watch and the things that I don't like. First of all, the watch is super comfortable on this supplied rubber band. It just wears really, really comfortably, really, really nice. There's the shot of the case back there for you. So it is super comfortable. It just sits snug on the wrist. It really is nice. The dial on this watch is really beautiful as well. Inside here doesn't do it justice, but the outer ring with the printed Arabics on it and the minute track that is printed around it is one shade of blue, and then there's a nice sunburst dark blue, almost black inner circle with the Gallant branding and the water resistant 5 atmosphere branding. That circle there just sits below the outer ring of the dial, and it's just really, really beautiful. The sunburst effect that you get on the outside, and the case, which is nicely finished with a high polish, really shimmers in the outdoor light as well. and it's just got some nice finishing on it for $50, for less than $50, for $45, some decent finishing on it. And then the bezel itself, I'll zoom in on it. It does have some circular brushing around the bezel, so it's just a bit of a different finish on the bezel. And so overall, I'm just loving the look of this watch and the feel of this watch. What I don't like about this watch, first of all, no seconds hand. I don't like the fact that when you look down at the watch, there's just no running seconds hand. I like to see something moving on the dial, and there's just nothing moving on this dial. I'm not really a huge fan of that. And the other thing that I found quite interesting was the bezel on this. Now, it is a fixed bezel. There really is, in my opinion, no reason to have any markings on this bezel. Everything that you need is on the dial itself, and the fact that this bezel doesn't, rotate or anything like that, it's just a fixed bezel. It doesn't really need the markings there, but that they put the markings on this watch, it's just interesting. If I zoom in at the 6 o'clock, you can see that the markings that they put on the bezel don't quite line up. You might not be able to see it too well with the camera, but they're just a hair off, a little bit to the left there at the 6 when you're looking at it. And so the fact that they've got this fixed bezel on it with the markers that just don't quite line up with the printed indices on the dial just kind of made me chuckle when I saw it. But overall, this is a really nice looking piece, and for $45, it's a great looking watch. Really happy to have it. Really thankful that Andy sent it to me, and certainly worth the money that you spend. Value for dollar. It's there. It does have a Swiss quartz movement, but I don't know if I mentioned that already. You can see that at the 6 o'clock Swiss movement. Not sure what Swiss movement is in there, but there really is no movement on the dial. That's just something that I'm not a huge fan of. So let me show you this on the wrist. Oh, by the way, what am I wearing right now? Check this beauty out. This is Long Island watch, ISL 19, the Islander ISL 19 from Long Island Watch. Oh, what a beauty. Well, let me show you this on wrist, and then we'll get talking about the other Gallant watch that we have in. There's no model for this. It's just on the AliExpress website. I will leave the link where these watches are on the description of the video so that you can, if you like, go pick yourselves up one of these. This one is a real stunner. I love the blue, and I'll show it to you on wrist now. So here it is on wrist, and you can see this is really just a beautiful piece. I really, really love the look and feel of this, but there is one thing that you do need to know. I have a 7.5-inch wrist for your reference, and you can see that I am on the second to last hole. So if you have an 8-inch wrist, or even a bigger wrist than 7.5, you're going to be at the last hole. I don't know that the strap will fit inside the keeper on the last hole, and also because of the case design here, you can see that this is 24 millimeters wide, but the lug is actually to replace the bracelet 20 millimeters. So I don't know that you're going to be able to find a strap to put on this watch if you need to, if your wrists are bigger. So you need to be aware of that. So let's move on to this beautiful classic series. It's called Gallant. And I'll take you to the website for this one, again on AliExpress. And you can see that this one is only $32, 33 US dollars for this one. Just an absolute killer deal. Now, I think the reason that it is a little bit cheaper is that the case for this one is an alloy case. And so that's kind of a bummer to me. I'll spend a little bit more money to have a solid stainless steel, case on a watch, and not just the case back. So it's just a press case back. That's stainless steel. The case itself is alloy. The bracelet is stainless steel, but I think it's a little bit cheaper because the case itself is an alloy. Now this one comes in at 41 millimeters for case diameter, It is 10.5 millimeters thick. 45.5 is your lug to lug distance, and this one has 20 millimeter wide bands at the lugs. It has a mineral crystal, again, covering the dial. This one does have a couple of scratches on it from Andy's wear and use. You can't really see them on camera right now, so there you go. I suppose that's good. And it also has very little water resistance. Now this one, you can see it's just kind of a funny little thing. It says resistant water instead of water resistant. So they messed that up on the dial probably. And only 30 meters. So, you know, I wish it had at least 50. You can do some light swimming in it, but this is only splash proof, wash your hands proof at best. A little bit of rain proof, but that's it. What do I like about this watch? Well, I love the dial on this watch. It is absolutely beautiful. They're utilizing, again, a little bit of the two circles. So you have one circle that all of the indexes, which are applied indexes, sit on, and then an inner circle with those two complications. It is the same color. There isn't much of a sunburst effect on this one, but I love the fact that you have Roman numerals at the 12, the 2, the 4, the 6, the 8, and the 10, and batons at the odd indices. It just is different, you know, than circles or just all batons. It just has a bit of a different flair to it, and so I really like the dial design. I love the fact that it's a reverse panda. It really is nice. It just gives a very striking look and feel to it. The bracelet that it comes on is a Milanese style bracelet. It's stainless steel. It does have some branding on the clasps, Gallant branding there, which is nice, and it really is really very, very comfortable to wear on the wrist. Really like that. And I also love, if you can just have a look at it, and I'll zoom in, it does have a sweeping seconds hand at 4 ticks per second. Or is it 3? Let's take a look here and see if we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 ticks per second. And it really is just nice to look down and see not a ticking seconds hand, but a bit of a sweep to that seconds hand. It does have a Japan quartz movement in it. It's not a mecha quartz because it doesn't have the chronograph, but I love the fact that it has that nice sweeping seconds hand. That little bit of red on the tip just makes it stand out a bit, makes it a pleasure to look at. And so I really do like that. The thing I love about this watch too is the price. I mean, you cannot go wrong for $33. You're just getting a great looking piece, a great looking watch. There are some things that I don't like about this watch. Alloy case, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's just alloy, but that's probably why it comes in a little cheaper. And I gotta say, although I do like the look of the reverse panda, I'm not a huge fan of these complications. I would rather have a chronograph. Personally, I don't mind the day of the week. It's really legible. It snaps over at the 12 o'clock very nicely. I'm not a huge fan of the date complication here. It's somewhat difficult to read, and I prefer, you know, a chronograph, or even a 24-hour, like a military time complication. I think would have been better on this, rather than a day or a date complication from 1 to 31, and there's dots in there. It's not all numbered. I just am not a huge fan of that particular complication. The lume on this, I didn't bring my flashlight, so there's no lume shots, but the lume on these isn't great. Obviously, you can see that there will be a little bit of lume on the hour and the minute hand, but not much in the way of lume, and so I didn't bother with the lume shot today. But you know, for $33, this is a fantastic looking piece. Complications I'm not huge on, you know, the day and the date. I'd rather have a chronograph, but you know, just the look. It's a pleasure to look at. Really beautiful looking watch. Very comfortable watch. And the price, you can't go wrong. And so Let me show this one on wrist as well, and then I'll just give you my final thoughts on Gallant as a brand. And here's this one on wrist, and you can see it is absolutely, it's absolutely beautiful. Again, Andy, thank you so much for sending these to me. It's just a really, really nice, beautiful piece. I do want to mention one more thing that I don't like about the bracelet, and it's just the little keeper here on the. It's a fold-over lock, but it really doesn't snap or anything like that. And it actually sometimes kind of gets in the way when you're trying to put it on your wrist. So, you know, when you get the thing flipped over to get the keeper in, then you gotta, you know, you got that thing in the way. You gotta kind of flip it up, get it on. So I don't think that fold-over lock was necessary, but at any rate, that's just another little thing I don't like. But it's just a minor grievance, if you will. Certainly doesn't take away from the look and the feel of this watch. It really is beautiful. So are Gallant watches any good? Well, I think for what they are offering their watches for, you are getting a great watch for money spent, like this Reverse Panda for only $33 US. You can have a great looking watch. And I think totally, if you are a person who buys budget watches and you are a budget watch collector, Gallant should be on your radar, because you can get some great pieces for sub $50, under $50. Easy to acquire, not going to break the bank, great looking pieces. So yeah, I think that they're definitely worth the money. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think of the brand from what you saw today. Do you like the watches that I showed you today? I love dialoguing with you in the comment section, so please do leave me a comment. Leave me a thumbs up if you like this video. And according to YouTube analytics, over 80% of you who watch the videos haven't subscribed, and so please take a moment to subscribe. You'll see an opportunity to do so in just a second, along with a link for one of my other videos. Go ahead and check that out too. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. As always, when you leave your house, make sure you have a great looking piece to wear on your wrist, like this Reverse Panda Classic Series from Gallant. And make sure that wherever you are going, you guys get there on time. Thanks a lot, guys. God bless you. We'll see you in the next one.